Well, I've been away for a couple of weeks. I'm going to explain on this video why that is. So, to put it in simple terms, speaking too much truth again. Too many inconvenient truths. It's great to be back, if indeed YouTube allows me to post this video. And I hope you're all well. I know there's one or two comments I need to answer from my last video, so I'm going to do that today as well. So I've been away for a while. Got this beard now, which I'll be getting shaved off soon. It's been tough. Personally going through some exceptionally trying times. But one thing I am is battle hardened. And you know, I have a heart of a lion. So that gets you through. But in terms of the content and why I've not been posting, as I say, the reason for that is I've been cancelled, I've been silenced, been censored yet again. I don't know how many videos I've had taken down now. We're approaching 10, I think it's either 8 or 9. So the last podcast I did with Paul, and if you've not subscribed to our podcast, incidentally, an Englishman, an Irishman, and a load of bollocks, you'll love it. I know some of you listen to us. For those of you that aren't aware, you will love it, I promise you. Click the link in the description and you can subscribe. I think it's on Spotify, but anyway, you can listen to it there. Anyway, our last podcast, which was about, I think it was the one we did about excess deaths. Yeah, it was the one we did about excess deaths. And YouTube deemed that what we were saying was too much for people to handle. Too much for people's flimsy neurotic characters, so they decided too much truth in that, so they took that video down. But as I say, it's still available to listen to on Spotify, so make sure you do if you've not. Hot on the heels of that, a couple of days later, so I was given a 1 week ban from posting for that what I've just talked about. Hot on the heels of that, a day or two later, I'm sat there and I get another email from YouTube saying another video, get this, from April 2022, so 11 months ago, has been taken down because it contains, again, medical misinformation. Apparently 11 months went by where whatever it was I said in the video, I've not even watched it back, apparently that was acceptable for all those months. Yet come March 2023, all of a sudden there's something or some things in there are suddenly unacceptable to the YouTube oligarchs. So work that one out. But it won't come as any surprise to those of you that know what's going on with the censorship. I know it won't. But for those of us who are creating content, who are speaking, telling the world what people need to hear, who are speaking those horrific truths, exposing these evil lies, I can't describe it's above anger and above frustration, it's helplessness, a sense of helplessness that what you want to say has been deemed as being unacceptable. By who? What right does anybody have to tell me what I can and can't say? And that's not even the point as well, because everything that I've said is verifiable and provable. But of course, you know, when the lie no longer holds sway over the population, and Joseph Goebbels told us this, then censorship must become commonplace, must become the norm. Because the truth is the biggest enemy of the lie. And how true I know that to be. So my YouTube channel now, and all the work that I've put into it, I think I've done about 400 videos. I've been on YouTube for nearly 3 years now. My channel's never really grown in the way I would have liked. I've not had the reach I would have liked. But I'll tell you what, I absolutely love it because I love the subscribers that I have got. And maybe that's the beauty of it, because I feel that what I try and do, there's a very, very, very tiny niche of people who kind of truly understand things in a similar way to me, because I try and underpin my content with certain themes: truth, conversation, connection, community, introspection, ideas, concepts. And I feel that most of the content in the alternative media, the citizen journalism that's being done, is just fanatical about the conspiracy side of things, which is all mostly true, but doom-laden, disproportionate attention given to certain individuals, certain organisations that are absolutely orchestrating all of this. Whereas my attention, my area of focus has always been on people. We can't wake our politicians up to suddenly take on board what we're saying and represent us, and people are so naive to think this. We can't wake our mainstream media up to suddenly start representing and talking the truth. People are naive to think that that's going to happen, yet so many still do. So many still hold these very naive views that suddenly politicians are going to start discussing the issues that we've all been discussing, are going to start doing their duty, are going to start doing what we pay them to do. They're so naive because that is not going to happen. Now that brings me on to Andrew Bridgen, because he is probably the only one out of all 650 pigs who've got their snouts in the same trough. He's the only one genuine, upstanding, caring, understands that he's employed by us, and more than that, he's put his head above the parapet. Must be a lonely place for him. I can't imagine the intimidation and the coercion and the threats that he's currently facing. And you know, I have a lot of love for anybody in that situation who feels alone, and he is probably possibly the most prominent person in the entire world, actually, who's taken this on at government level. Yet for everything he's doing, he needs, and we need, to somehow spur these cowards that are all around us into action. And that's what my content's about, and I don't use that word lightly at all. Cowards, yellow-bellied, lily-livered, spineless wretches. And I'm sorry, but some of the things I'm seeing, interactions I'm having in my own personal life, I don't actually have the words to describe now the sadness that it makes me feel. You know, for those of you that don't know, I lost my dad after a certain medical procedure. And the way you have to say, talking coded language, I am questioning whether, I'm wondering where the humanity is, I'm wondering where the basic level of intellect is, I'm wondering where the empathy is, I'm wondering where the basic human connectedness is with a lot of people. And the fight that's being carried to these evil globalists and their acolytes and subordinates, and yes, prime ministers and MPs, politicians, editors of mainstream media, they are subordinates. They are so low down in this. The idiots taking the money to do the bidding of this true evil. The only way that us, the small section of people who've carried the fight to the globalists, to the vested interests, to the psychopathic entities that actually rule this planet at the moment, that's been done by a tiny percentage of us. And yes, there's a lot in this awakened community, I always put it in inverted commas, who are borderline useless, because all they do all they do is share the shit out of stuff, and it's all negative all the time. Nothing's verified, no questions asked, no independent thought. A lot of them call themselves critical thinkers, they're not. And just sharing crap all day long on their phone, pressing buttons. That's useless, that. Absolutely useless. The people are tiny in number who've actually carried this fight. The ones who are aware of what's going on, who've actually done something, who've met others in person, who've carried the message, who've done something tangible, attended protests, spoken out, done the stand in the park, written books, done YouTube channels, whatever. Because how you get yourself out of tyranny, there's a part where you have to create your way out of it. Because speaking your truth, honestly and authentically, takes more than an element of creativity. And yet, we're surrounded by millions of people who, their silence is haunting me. It really is. It's a haunting silence. And it tells us everything we need to know. The smears and accusations have gone now, apart from a handful of lunatics who actually have the temerity to laugh at people like me and my family at the claims, as they say, the unfounded claims that we've made about what happened to our loved ones. Fuck them. But the silence from the masses now speaks volumes. No longer are we called anti-vaxxers, right-wing extremists, granny killers, COVID deniers. No, we're not, are we? No longer even do they go. They used to kind of make a bit of a noise when we talked to them about what we were trying to bring to bear, the truth we were trying to bring to their attention. They sometimes used to just go, make these vague noises of acknowledgement. Yeah, I can hear you speaking, shut up, I'm just going to go. Not even that now, is it? Complete and utter silence. It is truly, truly sinister and haunting, macabre. Like it's like they're from another planet. There's something weird. Well, there's a reason for that though, isn't there? There's a reason for that, and it's a very obvious reason. And the reason is this: they have believed the most horrific lie, an absurd, patently absurd lie. They have believed, acquiesced, complied, encouraged, and in some cases encouraged and endorsed. I try and put myself in their shoes. Say, what would I do if I realised suddenly, or maybe slowly unfolded, what would I do? Well, I don't know. But I'll never act as an instrument of tyranny, ever in my life. I never have and I never will. So I can't answer that question. All I can say is that's what's happening, and that's why. The pressure, the intolerable pressure that is falling on a small number of people. Yes, we have a critical mass of people who know what's going on. Absolutely, we've had that for 18 months now. But most of them are still having their lives dictated to. The propaganda is being delivered via these cowardly, idiotic, naive, ignorant people. Conversations are being shut down. Silence, the sound of silence, as I say, is haunting. And these people are instruments of propaganda. Yet again. Because they just want it all to go away. Because they know they're guilty. guilty by association, guilty by active involvement, guilty in their silence. Guilty. And silence is compliance. Silence is taken aside. I found out about people. And when you talk about these things, take the time to create the content and you just get shut down. And all that work that I've put into this channel, if I get one more ban now, that's it, my channel's gone for good, forever, disappears. All that work I've done, all that evidence that's currently there of me standing up for the children, that's why I did this, all just disappeared. You know, and that makes me sad, particularly when I take into account what's happened to my dad. They win. If that happens, they win. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not a big fan of the, you know, alternative media platform. Not that I'm not a big fan of it. I watch, you know, I've learned a lot, and I do follow people on various different alternative platforms, but they are echo chambers, you know, and I don't feel I'm going to make any real impact joining in an Odyssey or a BitChute or whatever, because as I say, they are very much echo chambers, and I am wanting to, I don't need to carry on having my views validated by people who already think like me, albeit I did try and set up an Odyssey account just to back up my work, so that's probably something I should do from that point of view. But the thing about YouTube, as much as it's currently being overseen by communist tyrants, whatever you want to call them, anti-humans, you have a far greater chance of influencing a broader range of people. You have a far greater chance of that one video going viral and making a massive impact. So I'm thinking I might set up a second YouTube channel, but I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. As I say, I'm pretty exhausted at the moment with everything that's going on. So I want to say to you, if this is the last video I do, if this gets taken down, I can't think how they could take this one down, then it's been great knowing you all. But please do subscribe to my Telegram channel. I've only got about 127 subscribers there, and I've got, I think, 600 and odd on YouTube. So please click the link in the description, subscribe to the Telegram channel. That's one way of me keeping in touch. And I'm going to have a little think over the next couple of days about what we can do, about what I should do, sorry. Another thing as well is myself and Paul did do, need to sneeze here, 1 sec. Excuse me. Lovely to be back out, by the way. This is my first time on this walk since September, after my knee surgery. Knee's feeling better, but I've been told it will need more surgery within 5 years, but whatever, feels better for the time being. Lovely to be back out. Anyway, I was talking about a podcast there, sorry, 1 sec. So the podcast that got me banned, mine and Paul's podcast, which I think you'll love, about excess deaths, you can access it by clicking on the link to the podcast channel. And we did do another follow-up podcast Thursday night, I think it was, and I am going to do a separate video about that, linking to it, so I'll do that later on today, but I'm going to upload this video first. But yeah, please do everything you can to, if you don't mind, to raise awareness of this channel. Subscribe to my Telegram, I'd really appreciate it, only because I would love to broaden my reach, and I do feel I see things clearly. I do feel that I can be a greater influence, and I'd like to be. There's a lot of noise and a lot of nonsense at the moment on our side of things. I mean, people might think this is noise and this is nonsense, and you know, that's their opinion. But as I say, I love all my subscribers because they're the kind of people who I feel this world needs more of, and who are the ones that are ultimately this society needs in greater number. And I'd like to attract more of those types of people. If that makes sense. So please do raise awareness in any way you can. Share the video, let them know about how many times I've been barred. I don't know. The book, again, just in case this is my last video, and I hope it's not, the book that I wrote is called The Imperfect Individual: Why Our World is in Turmoil and How You Can Save It. I recently reread that book and I'm very pleased with it. I guess that's my legacy. You can, if you're interested in that, click the link in the description and you can buy it by the publisher site. And again, that'd be brilliant if you could spread awareness in any way you can about that. And I'm asking you to do all these things, and I know that everyone's got it so tough at the moment, and there's that much information and that many competing priorities, and it's very, 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 very difficult times, challenging times. There are very good things happening, and I will do videos on this in the coming days if I'm allowed. But again, what frustrates me is that how we've resisted so much, stopped the tyranny in its tracks, stopped it from getting worse and bringing the truth to bear, even though the masses don't want to see it. It's been done by a relatively few number of people, you know. So it just shows you what can be achieved. Now, if you do disappear and you can't find me, if I do set up a second YouTube channel, it'll have the phrase imperfect individual in it, in the title of the channel, so you'll be able to find me. But let's hope that I'm okay with this, and then I've got to navigate through another, I think, 75 days without being censored. But as YouTube have shown, they can go back and pick any one of my videos that I've done at any point in the last 3 years, so I could disappear, you know, and how sad that will be, because, you know, this is my life work, this, you know, what I've done with this and the book and the podcast. So another video coming up later on today about mine and Paul's podcast. I hope you're all well and enjoying the weekend. The signs of spring are all around us now, which is lovely to see. We've got loads of daffodils in the garden, which I love looking at every day. So cheery. Right, speak to you all soon, and thanks as ever. Bye bye.